Good afternoon. It appears that I am really live. So I am so excited that you're joining me this evening for Massive Action Mondays. What we're going to do is this is what we are going to cover. I can just bring up my screen here, my other magical screen. We are going to cover what it means to take massive action, why you want to take it, why is this important, and how you can make it benefit you. Because the point is to move forward faster with a dream goal that you have in mind. So, just to give you a brief introduction, my name is Angelina Soul. I've been a corporate trainer, facilitator, project manager, and vice president. I worked at some of the corporations that you see there below. But really, we're here to talk about you. So, I also want to point out these are just some of the things that I've done. I worked on some music that was featured at the Winter Garden in New York City. There was an article posted in the New York Times. I've created my own jewelry company. I did a voiceover singing for Mattel, singing about Barbie. And I lived in Spain. I did an opera in New York, and I did a weight loss commercial with that guy on the left named Bob Harper. So I call this my past board. And I want to encourage you to create a past board. We're all familiar with creating a vision board about what we want in the future. But I recommend you create a past board, which can be anything that you are proud of that you've done, because when you are trying to accomplish these new goals, you may forget all of the wonderful things that you've already done. And those accomplishments are going to give you the courage and the courage and the confidence to know that you've done it before, you can do these things again. So right now, I want you to imagine what it is that you want and pick one thing. And as we go through this process, I want you to have that thing in mind, that amazing goal in mind. Now, realistically, how long do you think it will take to get that great, amazing, important goal? So let's say that goal is to write a book, for example. You have this grand idea, and all that you have written down is, I want to write a book. Well, realistically, if you don't make that a priority, it could take you 5 or 10 years to get that book done. And even if you're diligent about it, without massive action, it could take you 2 to 3 years. But what if you made that goal even bigger so you could get more excited about it? So, this is an example. In addition to writing a book, what happens? You get a publishing deal with a $50,000 advance. You don't even have to have the whole book completed to get a publishing deal with the $50,000 advance. And now that you've involved other people, an entire corporation, you're even more motivated. They've given you a $50,000 check to get this book done. That's incentive. It's in every store with amazing reviews after the book is published. You're appearing on several talk shows now. Famous people you admire start to contact you and they praise you. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this was such a fantastic book." And then let me go back a slide. And then you're invited to events and you're paid to speak. I know some of you out there want to write a book because perhaps you want to start a consulting company, and you know that book could be your calling card for getting you those speaking engagements. Fans say, "Oh my gosh, this book that you wrote changed my life. You've made such an incredible impact." And you know you have this book inside of you that could really help other people. The book is a hit and the publisher wants more from you. So they give you a $400,000 contract so that you can recreate more amazing books. Then Hollywood comes to you with the deal. We want to make it into a movie. And all of this sparked because of one idea. But you got more excited about it because you looked at all of the things that could happen once this came to life and you started working on it, and you made the dream even bigger and more exciting and compelling, which is what I want you to do. So, for example, some people who've written a book, some women in particular who've written a book, one is worth $10 million because her book became a TV show. Another woman, her net worth is now 56 million. And the final, both of these you're familiar with, $110 million is now her net worth because she had an idea for a book. This particular woman was working as a senior manager in IT, had nothing to do with her book topic. Romance? What does that have to do with IT? And a high level. This is something she was skilled at, something she got her education in. She went up through the ranks in this IT career and still decided, you know what? I really want to write a book. And now that 110 million is not from her IT career. It is from her book writing. So this step that you want to take first, step one, is to create a big, bodacious, audacious goal. You have to create something so big and juicy and exciting to you that it makes your mouth water. This is one of the keys to making sure that it is a success, and it will enable you to take the massive action that is going to collapse time so that you can accomplish it more quickly. So I just wanted to give you some examples of some popular goals of people here in the US. And that did not come out very pretty once it became a PDF, and I apologize for that. But I will read these off to you. Some of these goals are exotic travel, paying off bills, getting married, owning a home, seeing a natural wonder, losing weight, achieving wealth. And guess what is number one? It's losing weight, of all things, getting healthier. That's a good goal. And then achieving a wealth goal, paying off a student loan. Does that sound exciting to you? Compelling? Maybe not so much. The next, owning a home, getting married, traveling to an exotic location, seeing a natural wonder, and having children. So YouGov keeps a running sample of the information in the US, and that's where these numbers came from. This is the order of goals that people want to accomplish, with number one being losing weight. And because these are not that exciting, you can see why many people do not achieve these goals. Losing weight is one of the hardest. People have to do it over and over and over again. It's probably why it's number one, because it's a goal that may be accomplished, but then has to be accomplished again because it is not sustained. Why? Because the life created around it does not support being that particular size, which is why it is so important to create the scenario, your new scenario around your goal that is going to keep you excited and keep it sustained. So we have our big, vivacious, bodacious goal, and small goals are not going to cut it, especially for massive action, because it'll feel like, what am I doing all of this work for? Why am I spending 15 hours trying to get this done when at the end it's not really going to yield anything that's that compelling or exciting for me? But if it becomes life changing, that is going to give you the power and the momentum to push through. I want you all to practice dreaming bigger. You have this big goal in mind. Dream about how you could make this even more incredible. I happened to look at some houses yesterday, and my friend took me to this house, $32 million house. The house went down from 40 million to 32 million, and the house was incredible. Upon walking in, there's a pool, infinity pool, and total open air. That whole back wall is just open. You could feel the breeze coming in. And that was one of the most desirous parts of being in the house. It wasn't actually the house. It wasn't the multiple rooms and bathrooms. It was being able to be inside and feel that enchanting breeze while looking out at the landscape and at the pool. It was the breeze. So get into a place where you can feel what that dream coming true would be like, the sensations of what it would be like. I think a lot of times we stop dreaming big because we decide it's not possible, or the problems surrounding us seem more important to fix than the idea of dreaming. But it's actually the dreaming that is going to solve those problems and beyond, where you get into a state of, wow, this is an incredible experience. So I want to take some time for you to have some goal expansion in your mind. Write it down. How can you make this thing bigger? What will happen when it is accomplished? What are all of the amazing things what are the things that you will be able to do once it's accomplished? And while you're thinking about that, I am going to give you some ideas based on the goals, the most common goals that people have here in the US. So, some goal expansion for the weight loss. Your common goal, lose weight, get healthier. Goal expansion. How about become the fittest, most unstoppable version of yourself? Option A, drop 23 pounds in 90 days. Now we're using the SMART goals. It's measurable and there's a time constraint. It's going to be in 90 days. Hire an amazing trainer and document the transformation on YouTube and get sponsored by a fitness brand for $100,000. Now, doesn't that sound exciting? Option B, complete a full 10K race or triathlon within a year and build a lucrative wellness brand around your journey. Maybe you make a discovery along your weight loss journey that actually helps millions of people achieve the same success. Option C, build slim muscle mass and become a semi-professional ballroom dancer and start competing and winning. So these are examples of expanding the lose weight goal. And I want you to do the same with yours. I'm going to give you more examples. Achieve a wealth goal, pay off a student loan. Oh my gosh, no one is jumping up and down for pay off student loan, okay? Our new goal is host an intimate dinner for 8 on your private rooftop overlooking the ocean to celebrate the mountains or the ocean to celebrate crossing your first $1 million in liquid assets. Can you imagine sitting with your closest friends with this amazing view, celebrating your accomplishment? Own a home. New goal. Own a big, beautiful dream home in your current city with mountain or lake views, as well as a vacation property. Why stop at just one home while we're dreaming? A vacation property or in either Tuscany or Paris or the Bahamas, wherever you desire. Get married. How about marry your soulmate and dream life partner who adds abundance to your life in every way, supports your dreams, inspires you, and makes you giddy with joy every time you see his or her smile? Next, see a natural wonder. How about visit Reykjavik, South Coast Iceland, and stay at the retreat at the Blue Lagoon or Ion Adventure Hotel and Spa to experience the northern lights near geothermal wonders in the lap of luxury. When I saw this picture of getting this massage in this warm water, I thought, okay, I have a new dream. I have a new dream on my list. And I want to take my best friend and I want to pay for everything so we can enjoy this luxurious spa experience. So I want you to pick 1 to 3 goals that could change everything for you this year. We're already at a midpoint in the year and we want to get to December and know, wow, maybe, okay, the first part of the year, I wasn't really that serious, but oh my gosh, in July, I got it together. I got focused and determined. I took massive action. The other part about massive action is it will allow you to make up for the lost time from the first 6 months of the year. Can you imagine? You were able to condense the achievement of this goal to 6 months instead of it taking 12 because of this massive action. Now, another step is you may create a vision board, one that can change everything for you this year. I will create a video on YouTube regarding the vision boards. And what I want you to do when you create it this time around is I want you to insert yourself into these images. You can do this on Canva. Basically, you're going to put yourself into the scenario. You're in front of that dream house. And then what you can do is after you save the presentation on Canva, you can save them as JPEGs and upload them to either CVS or Walgreens and print them out so that you can have a physical, tangible photograph of you in this situation, environment, with this dream fulfilled. Something about having it in your hand makes it feel more real. And psychologically speaking, your brain is going to make efforts to try to get you there because it believes it is real. I'm sure you've heard the saying, your brain does not know the difference between when you are dreaming and reality. So you want to make this dream become your reality. You want to keep this vision board in front of you so that it's at the forefront of your mind and things are triggered within your environment to bring it closer to existence in your real current life. So we have the grand idea. You have now expanded on this goal. You do not want to give up on yourself. This guy said to me once, you know what? I just don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. Now, how hard is it really to squeeze an orange? And if you have tools, it's even easier. So don't give up on yourself just because the dream may look or the goal may look a little bit daunting. Give yourself at least a chance to move it forward. Now, something else I want to mention is that if you have a project at work, at your day job, and you know you might have to get up a little earlier, check the emails, you might actually have to work later, look at other resources, you don't say, you know what? Hey, boss, you know what? I see that this is going to take some more time and effort. I am going to need a raise before I get started. I'm going to need you to pay me a few $1,000s more before we even begin this whole project because I can tell I'm going to be working late, getting up early, doing this on the weekends, going the extra mile, and I just can't do it until you pay me more. Who does that? None of you do that. Not one person out there does that, right? Nor do you go to your boss and say, oh my gosh, this is just going to be too hard. I just can't do it. I'm going to quit. I can't. Not quit the job, but give that project to somebody else. No one does that either. You do it. You have this level of commitment and dedication that says no matter how complicated this is, I am going to get it done. We have this mindset about work, but we do not have this mindset about the things we want to accomplish in our own lives. And so I would like to invite you to the idea that you have this same type of commitment and dedication towards your own goals, whether it gets too hard, whether it takes more time, whether or not you're being rewarded right away, because you won't be most likely. You're going to push through anyway, just like you would if you were doing this during your day job. So what is massive action? I asked ChatGPT and it said, getting organized and having, making a plan and setting goals. It's like, oh my gosh, that's not what it is. Massive action is an intense, concentrated effort in time and doing more than what most people are willing to do. So I can work on a book and maybe I spend 2 hours a week on that book. Massive action is I am going to go away for the weekend and I'm going to work on this book Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I'm going to create my own writing retreat so that most of these chapters get done. That's massive action. That's the difference, because come Monday, the other person is still in chapter 1, where you, who took the weekend to get a little further, is now in chapter 11. And because you've gotten so far ahead, you could probably wrap up the entire book in the next 2 weeks. That's the difference. It creates momentum. So now we have some steps. You have a big, exciting goal. You want to figure out what are the action steps that are necessary to accomplish this goal, and on what particular tasks can you take massive action? Because it's not going to be every single step, but there are going to be certain activities that are necessary where you can speed it up with massive action. But that is not step 2. Step 2 is actually motivation. And that is why it is so important that you have an exciting goal. I know this isn't obvious, but if you are not sufficiently motivated enough, you will get stuck once you look at the list of all of the things that need to happen in order to make your goal a reality. You do not want to get stuck in overwhelm. In order to take massive action, you have to be highly motivated, highly committed, and highly dedicated to making this happen. So, with motivation, there are some challenges when you're trying to accomplish something big. One of them is you're alone. You might be the only person in your group who is trying to accomplish this big thing. So the people around you might be supportive, but they're not necessarily going to understand. And they're really not going to understand if you do something that requires massive action and you start to take it. Number 2, which is the lovely lady on the far right. The things you might need to do might be a little bit crazy. And another part of your brain is going to say, yes, that is crazy. Why don't you stop? Please don't do that. Oh my gosh. What will people think? And you have to get over that. You cannot be concerned about what other people think if you've got to do something that is extremely outside of the ordinary. What other people think about you is none of your business. Not my quote, but one I hope you've heard before. What other people think of you who are not going to do that big juicy thing that you are going to do. It doesn't matter what they think. It's none of your business. And then our third person who's just scared, all of it's scary. It doesn't even matter if it's something crazy. It's like you look at that list and all of it seems so daunting. How are you going to get all of these steps done? These are the things that are going to get in your way. But if you're highly motivated, you will crush these things and you will run forward. Now, some things to help you. Know that someone else has done what you wanted to do. You are not the first. And if you are the first, find people who've done something similarly extraordinary to be your role models. Curate what you want visually. This involves, of course, your vision board, but also take pictures of people on social media who are already doing it. Have the images of those people so you know, wait a minute, yes, Becky's done it before. Vanessa has done it before. Michelle has done it before. This was easy for them. They made it happen. And maybe those people had more obstacles than you have and still made it happen. Let these people be your motivators. Also, if you feel a little jealous, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she was able to do that, use that too. Use all of it to help you. If that little friendly competition makes you more motivated, use it. So for homework, I want you to create a vision board. I would like for you to create a past board. It'll be fun. It's going to be fun creating a past board. And this can be anything that you've accomplished. You got married to that love of your life. You have these amazing, beautiful kids. This goes on your accomplishment board. You got the promotion. You swam 20 laps. You got the trophies when you were in college. Whatever it was, put it on the board as a reminder, like, wow, this is what I've been able to do. I can tackle this. I lived in Spain for 2 years. And when I moved to Spain, I had a kind of okay knowledge of Spanish. I lived in Mexico, but only for a summer. But the accent was so different. There were so many people that I didn't understand. I didn't understand a word they said. It's like, is this even the same language? What are they saying? And I thought, if I can understand this, the woman I lived with, her name was Fuensanta. If I can understand Fuensanta when I leave here, I will really be fluent. And then in addition to that, I was trying to find work in a foreign country where I was not exactly legal, and speak to people in their language and find a place to live. And I remember thinking in those moments, I cannot think of anything harder than this. The fact that I've got a language barrier, when I get back to the States, nothing should get in my way because at least I speak the same language. But I forgot about that. I forgot about going door to door to Spanish companies trying to figure out whether or not I could be one of their English language teachers. But that is something in my accomplishment list. Like, wow, I did that. I was brave enough to do that. Fly across the ocean, find a place to live, be on my own. Wow, let that give me the confidence and strength to do other great things. And that is what I want you to do. And then I want you to create a story of what this looks like. Paint the whole picture. Your picture is, your goal is, okay, I want to make X amount of money this year in this new job. I want to make $150,000, whatever the number is. I don't know. And I want you to imagine what life looks like once you accomplish that. What is it that you'll be able to do? What kind of time does that free up? Who could you hire? Could you bring in a private chef to cook your meals? Could you start ordering from one of those services so you don't have to do that anymore? Could you get a trainer so you could get in the shape of your dreams? What else would you be able to do? How does life become more exciting, fun, worthwhile, meaningful, easier once that is accomplished? I want you to paint that story. All right. And remember, print these pictures out. You can even create a canvas with all of the pictures, like a painting of your dreams, of your past and your future on a board. So I want you to get excited about your goal every day. Write down what life is going to look like with this goal accomplished. And if you prefer negative reinforcement, what's going to happen if you don't accomplish this dream? Sometimes that triggers people into action like, oh my gosh, I don't want that. And I want you to take one giant step towards achieving this goal. I also want to add something that I learned but never implemented before, which was make it easier for yourself if you are doing something that is going to require a habit. How can you facilitate it, your environment, so that it is easier to do? So if you're going to write, maybe you have a writing corner, but you've got to set that up first. So it's more enticing for you to go in and write. Maybe you're starting a business. How can you rearrange your office space so that after your day job, if you're working on this other business, it's easier for you to go sit down and plot that out and make that happen. Change these things in your environment to make it easier for you to take the actions for your goals. So, for example, I had my workspace set up. I do have way too many computers. Don't ask me why, but I probably have 5 computers that I work off of at any given time. And when I was setting this up, I had a table in the middle of the room and it wasn't convenient, and lights and all of these things. And when my new coach told me, you need to facilitate your work environment so it's easy, I thought, okay, wait a minute, I can do this. I can line the computers up side by side. I can create enough space where I'm just kind of wheeling my chair 5 inches from one computer to the next, and everything's in one place and in one space. And I don't have to think about it because I'm not going to have to rearrange everything every time I sit down. Just that one little hack, if you will, has made it easier for me to do all of the things I need to do. So that is the end of our first session. I am going to keep this up on the platforms and encourage others, if they missed tonight, to watch it and then come back next Monday. I am going to go over class 2. We are going to go over writing out all of the action steps and then breaking down the ones where massive action can apply, as well as how to have habits that are conducive towards getting these goals accomplished in a massive action kind of way. If you have any questions or want to reach out to me, please feel free to send me a message. You can send me an email at contact@SolaiProductions.com, contact@SolaiProductions.com. If you'd prefer to send me an email or reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, and I will be more than happy to help you, especially if you are having trouble trying to make your dream, your goal, bigger and more exciting. Maybe ChatGPT can help you do that. Maybe it can help you do that, but I know I most definitely can. Again, I'm Angelina Soul. Tell your friends. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, again, reach out, or if there's something in particular you also want me to cover next Monday, let me know that as well. Enjoy your evening.